I've got 2 cameras set up for this video and I feel suddenly very professional. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another random video. This is just what lockdown is bringing. However, I actually did mention this in a vlog a couple of weeks ago and a lot of you said, oh please can you show us the finished result once you've finished your scrapbook that you're making from Australia. So I said, yeah, okay, that could be cool. It's the kind of thing I would like to watch and get inspiration from. And I just want to hold my hands up now and say this is absolutely not the best scrapbook you have ever seen. I'm not an artist, I'm not very good at painting, and it was all just like experimenting, was having a bit of fun. So I thought I would talk you through it. It's quite a chunky piece of work, I'm not gonna lie. It's hard for it to like close at all. This is what it looks like. And this here is the front of it. Now, Tom actually custom made this for me. So it has the dates of the trip that I was on in this little top corner. And then obviously it says Australia. Basically he printed it. He does like acrylic graphic design. And the back keeps falling off. So I need to get him to mend that at some point because I actually don't know how to put that back on. Without further ado, let's just get into page 1. I do have a separate camera set up so that you can see the inside. It's like looming over me. It's really weird actually. I feel like I'm being watched by somebody else. I'm really hoping that you can see this to like an adequate level. Basically, I thought that I would just do it in chronological order. So obviously, if you guys have watched the Australia vlogs, you'll know that the first place I went to was Melbourne. So I wanted that to be where I started. And whilst I was out there, I was actually taking disposable camera photos, not every day, but like most days. I took 2 different disposable cameras and they are the only photos in here. I have not had any other photographs printed just because I would never have been able to choose. So I thought I'll just stick to the disposable camera pictures. So this is the first double page spread. I don't know how to like show you. So on the left hand side, we've got the place name. I kind of did this theme with all of them, different patterns, but kept to like, you know, the name taking up a whole page. And then I've also kept things like luggage tags and hostel key cards. I actually did not mean to keep this many hostel key cards. I really don't advocate stealing hotel key cards, but it just happens to me quite a lot. Like I'll put them in my purse and then if you don't need to hand them in when you check out, I just completely forget. So yeah, I did accidentally end up with that one. So I thought it was a nice keepsake anyway. And then the photos begin. So despite these being, hold on, I feel like I can get a better angle. How do we turn the brightness up? It would really help if I knew how to use my camera, wouldn't it? Yeah, so the first 2 photos are from various different places in Melbourne. This was from a bar, this was from a war memorial. And although these are the first 2 pages in the scrapbook, I actually did the graphics and like, not the graphics, the painting in them right at the end. Like these were the very last pages, so the effort was a bit half-assed, I won't lie. Some more photos. I've put a few place names on, but not all of them, partly because I don't remember every single street name, obviously, but also because there were some places that were just more standout than others, and Hosier Lane in Melbourne is very famous. These are some of my favourite images. So this is from Phillip Island. We went to Phillip Island to see the penguins, and if you go to Melbourne, I really recommend doing it. It's kind of like an excursion you can do. So I kept the receipt from the penguin viewing and then also got this photo with the whole group that I did the tour in Melbourne with. Same here, this was like the girl group that I hung around with for the week. All of them were so lovely. And I took this photo after I'd had quite a few drinks and I really thought it would look really sick because I thought it would be like, you know, nightclub vibes, but what actually happened was it's just loads of lights and it's just basically a black photo. So yeah, but that's from a club. Okay, I then also kind of not sewed in, but like tied in every single postcard. So I actually sent all the postcards home from my trip. So I started in week 1 and I sent 7 postcards to my family and to my boyfriend. So obviously my boyfriend kept all of his, but my family were like, well, what do you want us to do with them now that you're back? And I thought, well, I'll put them all in the scrapbook because that's a really nice idea. So this one here is from Melbourne, and then I just painted a little sunset, a little like watercolour sunset, but I just thought that was really lovely. And this is a very bad photo of the Melbourne skyline. By no means, by the way, are the photographs actually any good either. I think the thing with disposable cameras is you just don't know how it's going to turn out, which is part of the beauty of it. part of the reason why they stuck a little bit. But okay, so then we move on to Sydney. I love this page. It's so bright, it's so cheery. We've got Sydney written in yellow and then my luggage tag, and obviously a photo of me in the Opera House, because what else would it be? I just painted a couple of things that like reminded me of my trip. So wine was a big one. Like, I think I've told the story of the wine glass incident in the Sydney Opera House, but I'm gonna tell it anyway. We were sat having a drink at the Sydney Opera House bar, because it has this like really big bar with live music every single night. So we were having a drink, and I might have had a couple of drinks, several perhaps, and then I wasn't that drunk, like I was coherent, I was fine, but I just put my wine glass down with too much force, and the whole glass just smashed in my hand, and I was like, oh my god, I've just smashed a wine glass in the Sydney Opera House, that's so embarrassing. And at that point I thought it was time to leave. So I've painted little wine glasses and then also the Opera House on there. Love these pages. It was really quite cloudy on this day. These photos are like not particularly cheery, but I thought with this one I'd kind of continue the photo around the outside. This was like a classic year 10 GCSE art move, but I thought I would just paint like the photo extended, and then with this one I just went for some flowers. Absolutely love these pages again. So this was Deanna and Polly, two of my really good friends that I made on this tour. We spent the day together at Manly Beach. It was lovely, but it did rain. It was not actually very nice weather-wise, so that's why we've got hoodies on. And then the next day we went to Bondi, and Bondi Beach is famous in its own right, but this is a photo of the swimming pool. And then Opal is like their equivalent of the London Underground in Sydney. And then I thought I'd put the two postcards together on this page, one from Bondi, one from Sydney. And then on this one I just wrote Sydney like a million times over. You can't really see it because it's in super pale blue. But yeah, these were both sent to my mum and dad. The next place I went was surf camp. Now, I loved surf camp. Surfing is a sport that I really want to get more into. I really enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie, it's very physically draining. It's very difficult, but I absolutely loved it. And surf camp was a definite highlight. I saw some of the most beautiful sunsets. So it had to have a space in the book. So I kept these. I don't actually really know what they were. The band that you can see here, like we had to wear that the whole time to say we were like members of the group. And then this was just like a little voucher that we got given for when we left. If we want to go back, we can get $20 off. Probably won't be going back, so I thought I'd stick it in the scrapbook. And then yeah, this is a photo, as I mentioned, of one of the most beautiful sunsets. I'll hold it up a bit so you can see it. Yeah, it was just gorgeous. The camera is not picking it up, and also the photos didn't do it justice. So from there we move on to Byron Bay and Surfers Paradise, two of my favourite places up the East Coast. Both very like hippie, very chill. The whole East Coast of Australia is just orientated around beach life. So that was kind of what I was going for with the like drawings. Here I've got a surfboard, seaweed kind of thing. It's not the best, but it's kind of cute. I absolutely loved these pages. This is from Surfers Paradise. So I kept the ticket that I went up the Sky Tower with. We did that on Australia Day, and then this was our night out. I love this page. I also absolutely love those girls. And then this was from our 4 a.m. hike. 4 a.m. hike, who am I? To Byron Bay Lighthouse, where we watched the sunrise. Again, I just put the postcard in here. I did actually collect a lot of postcards, and now that I'm home, one, I'm very surprised I all made it home, and two, I'm very glad that I did it because they're really nice to read back because I've written little details in them that I've just forgotten about. So here I've just painted, as I mentioned, Brisbane Lighthouse that we walked to. It's on this picture as well. And then I absolutely love the Brisbane sign. I think this is the favourite one that I did. It's just got flowers around it. I did all of this with watercolour. So these watercolours, which I either got given from my school or I may have accidentally taken from my school. I can't remember, but I think these were from my school. Whoops. Don't advocate that, but I think when I did A-level, I just accidentally kept them. And then this packet of crayons and a couple of felt tip pens, and that's the only thing I've used, obviously, and glue to stick everything in. Australia Zoo, one of my favourite days. I tried to paint a giraffe. It didn't go that well. It doesn't really look like a giraffe, but you know. Kept the visitor guide, the map of the zoo, and I also kept the ticket into Queensland Museum because I actually did visit Queensland Museum, and I love that it's date stamped. I think that's really cool. Just like this whole page, it's a really good look back at the day I spent at Australia Zoo, and I really rated Brisbane, to be honest. As a city, I thought Brisbane was lovely. Here is the postcard from it. My new favourite thing is to watercolour this style of flowers because it's so easy to do, but it looks really cool. Then we headed to Fraser Island, and a standout memory for me from Fraser Island is the view of the Milky Way and the stars. So I thought I would decorate that sign with stars. I tried to also draw a starfish, but it didn't really work. It just looks like a big star. Like I said, guys, not an artist. Some more photos, just beautiful views, absolutely gorgeous places. I don't need to talk about them because I feel like you've seen the vlogs. If you're watching this, you probably have seen the vlogs. But yeah, this was cute. Lots of wine was had that night, may I add. So I've drawn a lot of wine glasses here. And then this is the postcard from Fraser Island with a photo of the shipwreck on it. So I thought I would just draw little boats all around that one. Oh no, that smudged a little bit, but this was from the town of 1770 and Agnes Water. And this is a photo that I took in the hostel. Bit of a shame that that's smudged. I think I was a bit keen when I was doing it. I'd finish one page and turn the page over as if the paint wasn't wet. Moved on quickly to Early Beach and the Whitsundays. You guys will know that they were my favourite place that I visited, my favourite place on earth that I've ever been. Whitsundays were gorgeous, so I tried to make that look cute. This is a photo of Early Lagoon, but I'm not gonna lie to you, it's completely out of focus, but let's just pretend that it isn't. And then I got some really gorgeous photos from the Whitsunday sailing experience. I think this is my favourite photo of all of them because one, it's in focus, and two, it's just a really nice picture. It's really cool and just looks like I'm having a good time. Not sure whose hand that is, but if that wasn't there, it'd be even better. Next pages were from the Whitsundays. I'm not too fond of the decoration of these pages. I don't love these. I tried to draw beach balls, that didn't really happen. Really, really loved this night. I'm really glad we got this photo because I just remember all the girls sitting around and singing. So this is a really nice photo because it just reminds me of that. I've written everybody's name underneath so that if I ever look back at this in like 20 years time, I remember who everybody is, because obviously a lot of the people I probably won't see or speak to again. This is a view from the boat, absolutely gorgeous. And then again, I just stuck my wristband in from the sailing trip because we did have to wear wristbands. I wore a lot of wristbands, club wristbands, event wristbands, sailing wristbands. And then this was the postcard from here. So I've literally just loosely tied all of them in, if you can see, like, so that I can still read what I wrote. And then I decorated the Ken sign because, you know, there wasn't a lot of purple yet, and I feel like purple's so me, so I thought I'd go purple with that one. And then these photos here I just love. I've gone mad with the dots. This page took me so long because I've dotted in so many different colours, but it was the full moon party, so we'd all gone with like UV dotted paint all over our faces, so I thought I would do the same. And then this was from the day we snorkeled the reef, so I've just written it above there. Like, I've tagged some of the photos, like written what I was doing or where they were taken, but just not all of them. And then this was from when I got my tattoo. So the photo's not great. It's kind of in focus, but I also obviously got two business cards, one from the tattooist himself and then one from the tattoo parlour. So I stuck those in. Then this was our last night. So I've got a group photo, and then my tour leader actually wrote me such a lovely message on this pack of playing cards because we had played so many drinking games, so many card games, and then at the end of the 3 weeks, he wrote everybody a message on one of the cards and gave everybody a card. So mine says, "You're so funny to be around, and I hope you don't forget your time in Australia. Keep doing you, and I wish you all the best for the future." And that's just so lovely. It's like a teacher message, but honestly, Paul was just so sound. My tour guide was just amazing. This photo I absolutely adore. Above it in green, I've just written, "What happens in Gilligan's stays in Gilligan's," because that's kind of a Gilligan's motto. Gilligan's is the hostel. It was the final hostel I stayed in. It was beyond even describing. I can't even describe to you what Gilligan's is like. You would just have to go to it. So this is the final page from my time in Australia. So I have a picture of the Cairns Lagoon with my actual plane ticket from Singapore. No, from Cairns to Singapore. Tried to decorate it with airport themed paintings. That proves difficult when you can't draw an aeroplane, so they all end up looking like this, but we're just not going to talk about it. As I said, not an artist. I then again just put in the postcard from Cairns, and then I had this wristband. I've got a lot of wristbands, so stuck that wristband in. Singapore, hate the paint on this. I was just a bit bored at this point, so I just started doing the biggest wiggly design ever. But I did include Singapore in this, so I'll just go through that now. These two photos I love. I stuck in this Singapore dollar because didn't know what else I was going to do with it. I'm never going to spend it, so I thought I'd stick it in, and also it's really cool. I really like other countries' money. Is that really bizarre? Like, I just find it fascinating that we don't all have the same money. Like, I know that's such a stupid thing to say, but like, looking at different notes is just interesting. So I stuck it in, tried to draw the skyline behind the photo. It's not the best thing in the world, but I do really like this page. I think it's really nice. These pages I adore. So these are coming up to the end now. This is a picture from the Botanical Gardens in Singapore. If you watch the vlogs, you might remember I saw the big light display that they do every single night underneath the Marina Bay Hotel, and it was just amazing. It was one of the highlights of the trip actually, and it wasn't even in Australia. So I decorated this with like leaves and this kind of design. I actually really like this page. And then the Marina Bay Hotel is very famous in Singapore. I took a photo of that. I don't know how I got my hands on Hotel Keycard because I didn't even stay there, but I think I found it and I just took it. And I'm being a really bad influence. Don't steal hotel key cards, especially don't steal hotel key cards of hotels you're not even staying at. Yeah, that's made it into the scrapbook. And then I believe this is the last page. Yeah, it is. So I've got my Universal Studios map. I think it is stuck in upside down, but it doesn't massively matter. I'm not gonna unfold it all. This is what's making it really bulky. Got my ticket for the Singapore Underground that I used, and then my final postcard, which I didn't actually send home because obviously I was in Singapore on the Friday and I was home on the Sunday, so there was absolutely no point in me posting anything, so I just brought it home with me. So this one has not got a stamp on it, has not got an address on it, so it just looks like this. And then I tried to draw like an edgy looking actually this is so bad looking at it now, an edgy looking skyline, but it just looks fine, like, you know, it's behind that, it's not that deep. And then this is the last page. So this here is flight ticket from Singapore to Heathrow. So I kept that, I stuck that in, ended up flying with British Airways. I wasn't even meant to be on this flight, so I thought I would keep the ticket. And I've just written LHR to Singapore. Singapore to LHR even. Yeah, I kind of ran out of ideas. Obviously guys, as I mentioned, like, I'm not an artist. This is not particularly well done or anything, but I just think the memories are so nice, and I've just tried to decorate it like kind of nicely to go with everything on the pages, and I'm really glad that I've done it because now I've got it to look back on. So I feel like this video actually got quite long and quite waffly, but I hope you have enjoyed it. I'm now going to try and mend the back of the scrapbook because it currently looks like this, but I do really like it. I'm really glad that the photos all fit perfectly on different pages because it's kind of like a cross between a photo album and a scrapbook. Now, I know that I could have definitely done it better. That's not why I'm doing this video. I'm not a scrapbooker. I'm not like an arty channel, but I just thought I'd show you it because it's really nice to document, and it might give you guys some inspiration if you've been on any trips recently and you want to do something like this, or you've just got stuff that you've always wanted to scrapbook but never got round to doing. Now is a really good time. I must have spent about 12 hours over the last week doing this, and now it's done. I'm really, really glad that I've got it as a keepsake. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you're new to my channel, and if you have not watched the Australia vlogs that go alongside all of these photographs, I really recommend that you do it. Not to sound like a stuck record and somebody that's constantly self-promoting, but those Australia vlogs are like my baby. Like, I love all of those vlogs so much. So there is a playlist, I'll leave it linked below. But other than that, I shall be back on Saturday with a weekly vlog from my week this week in lockdown. Subscribe to see that, and I'll be back then. Bye guys.